guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to Vlogmas number 3. I'm not feeling too great today, so I'm not going to show myself, but don't worry, you will be seeing plenty of the animals, and you guys have asked to see more of the mice, so you're definitely going to get that in today's video. So of course the first thing that we have to do today is open the advent calendar, and we're going to start with the 5th, and this is for the rats. So the rats have got 4 banana chips in their advent... The last one's stuck. Hang on. There we go. So the rats have got 4 banana chips as their advent calendar treat today. These are really easy to get hold of. I just get them from like the human food snack section. And yeah, they really like these. And then the mice have number 6, which is here. And in door number 6 is just 3 little, I think they're apple flavoured yogurt drops. So the mice are going to get these during their playtime today so we can actually watch them eat them. Hello there. Hello. One for you. Wakey wakey. Good morning. Good morning. I got you a present. You too. Good boy. What's this? What's this? Yes. Here you go. Good boy. Why do you always have to eat in the toilet? And why have you done this? Why are you eating in the toilet? It's so disgusting. So I have this box and I use this to play with the mice. It's a really decent size to put things in for them to play on. And I thought I'd just let them run around and you guys can watch whilst I answer some of your questions. So I asked over on Instagram if you guys had any questions and I got a lot of responses. So I'm going to work on getting through some of those questions, and in the meanwhile you guys can just watch the mice have a great time playing in this box. So the first thing that I'm going to be adding in is their wheel, and I'm going to be talking about this in a separate video, but this is their new wheel, so I'm going to put that in first. And then the next thing that I'm going to be putting in is this toy train. I got this from Pets at Home around last Christmas time, so I'm not sure if they have something similar, but I really love this train and this is definitely going in their cage closer to Christmas time, but for now I'm going to put it in here. I'm also going to be adding this Benny tube as something extra for them to hide in. And then this climbing frame, this cheese hide that Victoria Rachel sent us. And then just a couple toilet roll tubes. I don't think they're going to be too bothered about these, but I'm also going to add in these little chew toys as well, just in case they want to chew on something, but I think they're going to be too busy running around to even think about that. So here are the girls. You've got Opal, Pebble and Pearl, and I'm just going to add them into their playpen now. So while they're running around, I did say I was going to answer some questions, and I asked yesterday for questions on Instagram, and I had a really hard time actually picking which ones I wanted to answer because I got a lot of really good ones sent in, so I'm just going to go through some of the ones that I've picked. So the first question comes from Tess of the Tails, and she asks, are you planning on getting more rats soon, or is 4 your limit? Now when I was planning adopting these new boys, I was thinking about what my ideal number would be, because I did keep finding more boys that needed adopting, and I did consider potentially getting more, but I think 4 is definitely my limit. I know a lot of people do enjoy having a lot more rats. I'm talking like 10 to 15 rats at a time, but personally for me I do enjoy having a lower number just because I can give them a lot more individual attention, which I think is nice. I think the only time I would ever end up having more than 4 is say if one of my boys passes away and I want to continue getting rats to make sure I don't end up with any alone. I would probably end up having to get 2 because rats are always better to get in pairs when they're babies, so that would probably bump my numbers up to 5 temporarily until another one passes away of old age, but hopefully it's a long time before I have to even think about getting any more rats for that reason, so definitely want to keep my numbers around 4, but don't hold me to that if I ever end up getting more rats in the future. So the next question comes from Finny Blue, and they ask, do you have a favourite temperament in rats? Now before this I probably would have said that my favourite temperament was modelled on my old rat Rolo. He was really sweet and really calm and just loved to sit there and cuddle with me. I would have said that that was my favourite temperament, but having the 4 boys that I do now, I really enjoy them because they are hilarious. They are constantly making me laugh because they're just so energetic, and I kind of value that more over than being cuddly. None of my rats right now are particularly into being cuddled, so I think that is my favourite personality type in rats. I really enjoy them when they're being energetic and playing with each other and playing with me. So yeah, I think that's my new favourite temperament in rats. The next question says, what is your dream career? Now, if you'd asked me this before I did my degree 3 years ago, I probably would have said that my dream career was something like going abroad and doing conservation work and saving the animals, something naive like that, but my values in life have changed, not towards animals, but I'm much more of a stay-at-home person, and my dream career now, if it was possible and if it actually existed enough for me to be able to utilise it, would probably be something similar to conservation, but maybe something really random like working in a zoo behind the scenes and breeding frogs for conservation, something like that, or anything working with rats and mice that isn't like animal testing, which is really hard to find. I get a lot of people asking me if I want to work with rats and mice, but unfortunately jobs with rats and mice just don't seem to exist unless it's testing, which is something that I'll never ever do. So yeah, my dream career is probably never going to happen, but I've learnt to accept that. Treat? No? You want a treat? Yeah. You want a treat? So the next question comes from Alfie and George, and they said, what are your thoughts on crested geckos? Would you ever keep one? Now, I know this is probably going to be an unpopular opinion, but I find crested geckos a bit boring. I'm more of a leopard gecko type of person. I just don't have any interest in crested geckos. I have nothing against them, but I just don't find them that visually appealing. I find them cool in terms of like how their anatomy works and things like that, but in terms of appearance, I'm just not really that interested in owning one. The only morph of crested gecko that I really like and that I would probably get if I got a crested gecko is Dalmatian crested geckos, but yeah, I'm not planning on getting a crested gecko anytime soon, and if I ever did, it's quite at the bottom of my list of animals I want to own, so that's my thoughts on crested geckos. The next question is, would you make YouTube into your full-time job if it was possible? This is a really interesting question, and it's definitely something that is very, very far off for me, if ever happening at all. But thinking about it, I don't think I'd ever want YouTube to be my full-time career. I get really bored of doing the same thing all the time. I really enjoy doing lots of little things. So I don't think even if YouTube was something that I was able to make my full-time career, I don't think I'd want it to be the only thing. Definitely because I do have a zoology degree, I'd really like to do something that utilises that. Even if it's just anything working with animals, I'd really like to do that. And YouTube at all times, so I don't think I'd ever want to rely solely on YouTube, not only for the money aspect, but also for my own sanity and boredom. I really enjoy doing other things, so I'd like it to be run alongside something else, but I'm definitely working on something else right now that I can do alongside YouTube, but still allows me to do YouTube at the same time. Hetty Stew asks, how did you find university? Did you live away from home? What's it like being home again? I found university tough. I didn't have the best of health, and my university weren't really that understanding with it, which made it really hard, and I did consider dropping out quite a bit. I never would have done it because it's such a waste of money to drop out, and I'm too stubborn for that kind of thing. But I definitely found it a struggle. I found it a struggle work-wise, and I also found it a struggle socially. Because my health wasn't great, I didn't have the best social life, but my animals definitely helped with that. In terms of do you live away from home? Yes, I lived in student accommodation for the first year, and then I rented for 2 years with my boyfriend and a couple friends, and I lived about 2 hours away from home, which surprisingly at first I did obviously cry. I think everyone has a hard time at first, but really didn't bother me that much. And what's it like being home again? It's really hard. There's nothing wrong with being home again, it's just hard to adjust after you've lived alone, not alone, but lived independently for so long. Coming back home into someone else's environment, you're not the same person that you were when you left, so that's really difficult. And obviously for me, a lot of people don't have boyfriends or girlfriends when they move back home after university, so having to go long distance after being with my boyfriend for 3 years was really tough. So it's been challenging living back home, but it's not going to be for much longer, so I'm really excited about that. Martha Mooney asks, what do you think the next pet you'll get will be? Now obviously as I'm moving, not just because I need to settle things, but also financially, spending a lot on like adult things and bills, so once I'm settled, which will be a little bit of time from now, definitely my next pet is going to be a leopard gecko. I've wanted a leopard gecko ever since I was about 12, I think, and I'm really glad that I didn't get one at that age because I was definitely not ready, but I've wanted a leopard gecko for the longest time, and I think after I move out it will be a good time. Obviously I need to make sure I can afford it and make sure I can care for it, things like that, but I've wanted a leopard gecko for so long, so if anything that is probably going to be my next pet. The sad gay fangirl asks, how long do you think you'll keep having rats for? Now, I would love to say that I will own rats for the rest of my life, but you just can't really guarantee that that's going to happen. I think I'll carry on owning rats for as long as I have the time for them, because anything could change. I could change career-wise and be really busy and feel that it's not suitable to carry on having them, so I may just end up not getting any more. But I definitely think for the foreseeable future I'll carry on having rats because I do really enjoy them. My boyfriend did say that he didn't think that we'd need to have rats after we get a dog because rats and dogs are so similar in the way that they love you. He thinks that when we get a dog that we probably won't have the desire to have rats anymore, but I love rats and I'm going to carry on having rats until the day where I don't think it's suitable to have them anymore. But until then, I'm just going to carry on enjoying them and having them because they are definitely one of the best pets I've ever had. Sorry, mice, close your ears. Pebble, that's not how you use it, darling. But yeah, that was it for their little playtime. I hope you enjoyed me answering a few questions. Thank you to everyone that sent questions in, and I'm sorry if I didn't answer your question. It's really hard to answer every single one of them, but I thought I'd pick some that were a little bit different than ones that I've been asked before. And I'm so distracted because she's so cute. Oh, Laboud. Oh. Goodbye, pal. I didn't forget about you. Come on, let's go.